Here's a novel way to make a mundane chore a little bit more fun. This super thick dust pad is just that, a very cushy pad that feels very luxurious in your hand as you wipe away all that nasty dust. This pad is made with a very unusual crochet stitch, but it's also very easy, and I will show you exactly how to do it. To make this pad, you will need every bit of a 3-weight ball of cotton yarn. I say every bit because the thickness of this stitch makes this project a real yarn eater, and you're likely to use up a complete ball to make a pad that is this size. So you might want to have an extra ball on hand just in case you want to make your pad a little bit bigger. This is also a project where a variegated yarn works quite well. You will also need a size G or 4mm hook, a yarn needle, and scissors. So let's get going. Start by attaching the yarn to the hook with a slip knot. Next, chain 21, but kind of loosely. This prevents the edge of the pad from curving in. Now for row 1, and we are going to start with a stitch that you might not have seen before. It is called an extended single crochet, and here's how you do it. So start by skipping the first chain behind the hook, and we're going to go into the next loop, yarn over and pull through a loop, just like you normally would to make a single crochet, but here's an extra step. Do a yarn over and just pull through the first loop, leaving 2 loops still on the hook. So that is the extra step we make in this special stitch. Finish the stitch off with another yarn over and pull through 2. Here's your extended single crochet. Continue the row by making an extended single crochet in all the remaining chains. Just coming to the last couple of stitches in this row. And you should have 21 extended single crochets on this row 1. One more step for this row 1, do a chain 1 and turn. Now let's do row 2. Skip that chain we've just done, come to the next stitch, and we're going to do another special variation of a single crochet. So normally when you do a single crochet, you would put your hook through both loops of the stitch below, or both loops of the V. But for this crochet stitch or single crochet stitch, we're only going to go through the front loop, and then everything else is the same about the single crochet. So when we only go through the front loop like that, that is called a front loop single crochet. Okay, so we've made the first stitch of row 2, And now we're going to start making some loops. And to do that, just do chain 6. And then come back, find the next stitch of the row, and go into again that front loop and do another front loop, single crochet. Let's make another loop by doing chain 6. Come back, find the next front loop, and another front loop, single crochet. So that is the sequence for this row, alternating between chain 6 and a front loop, single crochet. So I'm just coming up to the end of row 2 now. I've done a chain 6, got another front loop, single crochet to do. Got one more stitch, so do another chain 6 loop. And it should be fairly obvious where that last stitch of the row is, that horizontal stitch there. So that's where the last front loop single crochet goes. And after that last front loop single crochet, don't do any more loops, just keep it like that. Alright, but in the row you do a chain 1 as a turning chain. And if you just like to check your work to make sure you've got the right number of stitches, you can go back and count how many loops you have. And for this project you should have 19 loops. Okay, let's do row 3. I've done the chain 1, turn, and we're back to doing the extended single crochets, and this time we're only going to go in the front loop of each stitch. So now that we've turned around, remember on the last row we worked a stitch in what is now it used to be the front loop, but now it's the back loop. So that helps us find where the first stitch of the row goes. It's in that loop there, that horizontal loop. So go in there and work an extended single crochet. And if you kind of fold the loops back, it's fairly clear where these front loops are. And if in doubt, you see there's already a stitch in the back loop, and you know, whoops, just come around, and there is the front loop, and that's where you work the next extended single crochet. So this row is nothing but extended single crochets in the front loop. Now I'm just coming to the end of this row, and just to help you see that the last stitch is very clear. So I've got 1, 2, 3 more extended single crochets to do. And again, the back side of the stitch already has that single crochet from the last row, so I know I'm in the right place here. And again, if you want to count, you should have 20 extended single crochets in this row. Again, we need a turning chain, chain 1, and turn. And now another loopy row, just like we did before. Just skip the first chain, the first chain, and go into the front loop of the next stitch. Do a single crochet, chain 6, front loop single crochet, chain 6 all the way to the end of the row. At the end of the row, it's again chain 1 and turn. And you go back to doing your extended crochet, your extended single crochet row. And that's essentially the pattern. You're going back and forth between a loopy row and an extended single crochet row. And you keep going until you get to the height of the pad that you want, or you run out of yarn, whichever happens first. But in any case, have your last row be a loopy row so that you can work one more row in just ordinary single crochets in the front loop instead of the extended ones along the last row, just to kind of finish things off. Oh, I hope you have a go at making this fun little project. I just love the cushiness and squishiness of this pad. I can see a lot more uses actually. What a nice pet bed or pet mat this would make if you had the patience and enough yarn to make a much bigger piece. Or even bigger again, a bath mat, as long as you could find something to make it non-slip. So have a go. I'd love to hear how you went. I've got a lot more projects coming up, so I hope to see you again soon.